Hey guys, Mike the Caveman Kuhn here again from Paleo Problem Long Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. And today we're talking about acid reflux, ulcers, and all kinds of gastrointestinal stomach issues, alright? So, thing is, when you get acid reflux, GERD, okay, what happens is you start to feel acid in your esophagus and it doesn't feel good. So what do? You go reaching for an antacid, a proton pump inhibitor like omeprazole, Prilosec. Alright? So the problem is, even though it feels like you have too much acid there and the acid is kicking back, the problem is that you actually have too little acid. What? Yeah, I know. What happens is, in your stomach, generally speaking, you have an overgrowth of a pathogenic bacteria called H. pylori. And when that gets into your digestive tract, it actually is able to turn down stomach acid. Alright? And that allows it to spread and proliferate. Now the thing is, that bacteria actually feeds on hydrogen gas. Okay? Now how does it do that? Well, generally, you're already experiencing some kind of bacterial overgrowth in your small intestine. It's called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And those bacteria, when they eat their food, they produce hydrogen gas, which then can kick back and start to feed the H. pylori. The H. pylori then turns down your stomach acid, decreases the sensitivity of your esophageal sphincter, okay, the valve that comes through. And so even though you feel it as being too much acid, you actually don't have enough. And that creates a vicious cycle, okay? You take the antacid, it lowers stomach acid more, feels good for a little bit, then the bacteria are able to do more damage. They tear through the mucosal lining of your stomach, thus allowing them to proliferate more, thus allowing more acid to kick back, taking another antacid, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. Now there are a number of things that can tear down that lining in the first place, alright? The bacterial overgrowth, that's one. The antacids are another. Steroids, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and once that damage is done, it allows the others to proliferate as well. So, what do we need to do? Well, first of all, tell everybody with any kind of digestive issues, alright? You need to get onto bone broth and gelatin, alright? We've talked about this before, but they are rich in glycine, glutamine, and proline, and collagen. Those are the cofactors to build collagen as well as collagen itself. And what that does is it allows you to help reheal that lining, because historically, ancestrally, we ate everything, head to tail. And when you did that, the skin, the connective tissue, you got those amino acids. Unfortunately, now that we predominantly eat only muscle meat, we're not getting as much adequate amounts of those amino acids, so we are deficient in it. As such, the tissue that requires it, our connective tissue, our joints, our skin, our hair, our nails, our digestive lining are deficient, and deficiencies in micronutrients and amino acids, they can cause a host of issues, alright? That being said, that bone broth, that gelatin will help provide those amino acids and help reheal the lining, okay? Next thing, specifically for ulcers and acid reflux, you're going to want to get on DGL, okay? That's deglycerinated licorice. And what that does helps repair the mucosal lining, okay? Another major one, you're going to want to do a quality probiotic. Again, Megaspore Biotic, period. That's the best one on the market right now. It gets through and it actually colonizes where it's supposed to help take care of the other bacterial overgrowth, which will then reduce the fuel for the H. pylori in your stomach, okay? What that does is it works through competitive inhibition. Basically, it competes for resources, it competes for the fuel, it starves out the pathogenic ones, it starves out the bad ones, and it's able to beat them out. I've also seen a lot of success with natural antimicrobials like grapefruit seed extract, alright, that has antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral properties, but it doesn't have the same deleterious effects to the good bacteria, to your probiotics in your gut, that traditional antibiotics, pharmaceutical antibiotics do. The other thing, you're going to want to improve the level of your stomach acid, okay? You're going to want to increase its acidity. How do you do that? Well, there are a number of ways. There are bitter herbs that you could take, be they ginger, dandelion root, peppermint oil. Those are all great ideas. Additionally, things like apple cider vinegar and fermented foods have organic acids that can help do that as well. So raw kimchi, sauerkraut, okay, those will also help do it. So raw fermented foods are amazing for you. You may also want to consider a digestive and or systemic enzyme. My personal favorite is Vibrenza. It has digestive and systemic enzymes, so it helps you with breaking down the food, but also helps to bring down inflammation associated with the rest of it, and can help repair the lining. Okay, what are we talking about food-wise now, though? This is where it gets a little squirrely, because normally, you think vegetables, they're great for you. Fruits, they're amazing for you. But in this case, for someone who's dealing with that gastrointestinal, like GERD and the ulcers, okay, that heartburn, you actually need to avoid even the healthy carbohydrates for a time. I'm not saying it's a lifetime thing, but until we can get that H. pylori in check, you're going to want to keep those away. A lot of those healthy carbohydrates are not the right thing for you because they act, the fiber and the starches act as prebiotic fuel. They are the fuel for the bacteria in your gut. Now, normally that's a great thing if your gut is already healthy. If you're having those issues, you're probably going to be feeding the pathogenic ones. So you start out with that natural antimicrobial and you reduce your carbohydrate intake, okay? Those would include fibrous vegetables, starchy vegetables, okay? Particularly, you want to avoid something called FODMAPs, which are fermentable oligodimonosaccharides and polyols. Yeah, I know. Google a list of FODMAPs, and that will help you out in getting to what to avoid. But what those are, they are types of sugars. A saccharide is a sugar. They're things that can be digested by that bacteria. They are prebiotic, okay? Examples that are particularly bad offenders are fructose, even if it's from fruit, okay? That fructose, especially high fructose corn syrup, but fructose, it is one of those FODMAPs, and it does not get digested well, and the bacteria will digest it themselves, release the hydrogen gas, fueling the H. pylori. All right? Artificial sweeteners are also associated with that small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Even fibrous vegetables, you really don't want to start out with them, okay? You can reintroduce certain ones later, but to start, you want to avoid those. So what do you actually eat then, right? Well, you want to focus on quality foods like those grass-fed animals, okay? You're going to want quality fats. Grass-fed butter, amazing idea because it has that butyrate we've talked about, and that butyrate helps feed and fuel and repair your intestinal lining, okay? Other things, fermented foods are going to be a good idea, particularly kefir, kombucha, the ones we mentioned before, the kimchi, the sauerkraut, those are all great ideas, okay? Even grass-fed yogurt, okay? Those are all ideas to help both add probiotic, a little bit of organic acid, and they'll help provide the butyrate in the case of the kefir and yogurt. So I know it's crazy, you have all these issues with your stomach and then your gut, and you want to do the right things, you want to eat all the healthy foods, like the vegetables, and in this case, that's not the case. So, because of that, you have to avoid it short term, deal with the issue, get the antimicrobial in, get that probiotic in, get some digestive enzymes, and eat quality foods. In the case of this, we're leaning more towards animals and quality fats, okay? Staying away from the starchy stuff, staying away from the fiber stuff, staying away from the sugar. I know it's crazy and it's pretty hard to think of ways to get around that, but those are your best bets, all right? Short term, you can reintroduce stuff later. All right, guys, hope you like this video. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. Head on over to Facebook over at Paleo Problem Long Island. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mike the Caveman, and of course over on MikeTheCaveman.com. All right, guys, I'll see you next time, and enjoy the sun. I'll see you later.